Welcome to the Feminine Tomboy podcast, where we cover identity, confidence, and fashion, all from my perspective. Tune in to hear my perspective. What's up, y'all? What's up? Thank you so much for tuning in to the first episode of the Feminine Tomboy. I am so excited. This has been a long time coming. I've been in the preparing stages for quite some time now. Really kind of waiting for perfection to get this started, but I've had some great support in the background, reminding me, just like I try to remind y'all, to get started with what I have and where I am. So I got the little things to get me started, to start this podcast, and I'm excited. And I was just reminded a few minutes ago that the growth is going to be amazing, and I'm going to be comfortable and confident in where I'm starting. And speaking of confidence, welcome to the Feminine Tomboy podcast. My name is Imani Ray. I'm your host, and we will be covering things such as confidence, fashion, and identity on this show. I really wanted to create a platform to share my experiences, share my journey as a young Black woman, and what it's like to be a feminine tomboy, and kind of trying to figure out how you fit in, in this world in that way. And that's kind of how I feel like I show up. I was talking to my mom, and I was like, I really want to do a podcast. I've done podcasts over the years. I've done, podcasts that really centered other people and the dope things that they're doing in the world. I've done podcasts with other people, Uncomfortable Conversations. If you tuned into that, you're familiar with that podcast that I did. And my biggest thing is I wanted to do something that allow me to open up to y'all a little bit more and share my experiences with y'all a little bit more. And I'm excited about that. This is going to be like my Moesha journal. I'm going to just be chilling and talking to y'all about the different things that I've experienced up until this point. But I just want to take a moment to share this episode and make sure everyone who I told about it is able to tune in. So please share if you're tuning in live on Facebook. I think I'm here on Twitter as well. So take a moment to share if you have time. So a little bit more about me. My name is Imani. Like I said, I own a brand called Natural E, a brand that I started in high school that really gave me a chance to express myself and how I was feeling and the struggles that I had around confidence. And that started off as a blog, and I began printing t-shirts shortly after, and I gained a lot of support, and over the years been able to build a movement of people that feel empowered by the message. One of my biggest collections is a Love Yourself collection, and a lot of people resonate with that message. And it's been beautiful to watch, folks engage with the brand over the years. And I feel like this podcast will be an opportunity to be an extension of that, an extension of the vision, an extension of what made me start the brand in the first place. So I'm excited to be more vulnerable with y'all, a little bit more open, share my experiences and my story, like I said, for the millionth time already. So this would be a short episode, kind of covering the basics of what we'll talk about here. And I really want to hear some thoughts in the comments as well, as far as what you all want to hear as you tune into the podcast. Some of my favorite podcasts are the ones who like really get personal and talk about our life experiences and talk about what the things that we go through as Black women in society, things like that. So I'm excited to cover topics like that as well. So let me check the comments and see what folks are saying. I see my dad is tuning in. Thanks to my dad and my mom, my number one supporters. Awesome. So, feminine tomboy. I want to talk a little bit about where that stems from and how it connects to my own identity and my experience. So, like I mentioned earlier, I was talking to my mom and I was telling her how challenging it has been, to figure out figure out my own identity, as far as not just being like a tomboy, but how does that fit into like that. I want to dress up sometimes. I want to, get my nails done, things like that. But I'm not wearing heels. I don't like wearing heels. I may every once in a while if it just fits the look, but I definitely have struggled over the years. When I was younger, I was an extreme tomboy. Like I would wear my dad clothes. I was playing basketball all day, every day, and that part of my identity is something that I'm confident about now. I wasn't always confident about it. It was definitely a struggle in school. And it didn't become an issue for me until I realized like other folks' perspective on like what it meant to be a tomboy or how I showed up, or when it came to boys and how they like there was some boys who loved the tomboy or some boys that was just like not attracted to that at all. And so that played a role in my confidence at the time in like middle school and high school. But I always had it in me to be true to who I was. Like no matter what people may thought, like I was wearing my cargo shorts to class in middle school. I was gonna wear my, basketball shorts. I did not care. With my Aeropostale shirts layered, I didn't care. I was gonna wear whatever I wanted to. And so I'm grateful for that experience growing up in a household that didn't judge me for how I showed up, embraced me no matter how I showed up. And I want this podcast to talk about that in depth. And I really hope to bring on guests as well to share their perspective on just identity in general. And I'm grateful for the experiences that I had growing up as far as like engaging in workshops and things like that about identity and what it looks like for us to have confidence and embrace who it is that we are and show up in the world in that way. So I want to create a platform where we can talk about that more, because I'm sure I'm not the only one that has experiences like that when it comes to being a feminine tomboy or just being a tomboy in general. And I see a lot of content around this on social media, whether they call it out and call it what it is, or they just kind of show up that way on TikTok, YouTube. So I felt like it would be cool if I could talk about my experience with it as well, because as I was planning for the podcast and figuring out what I wanted to talk about, I didn't see a lot of content around this topic in general. I saw like a few TikToks, a few YouTube channels, like maybe one or two YouTube channels that covered this topic, and maybe they had like one video that talked about it. But I didn't see anybody like consistently making this a topic of conversation. So I really, really look forward to hearing others' perspectives. Because when I talked about it on like Twitter and Facebook, I was intrigued to see the amount of people who have a similar experience as far as being a tomboy or being a feminine tomboy. And that's the reason I want to include fashion, because that plays a huge role in this conversation. Because I think personally, being a feminine tomboy is however you decide to define it, if you consider yourself a feminine tomboy. So for me, I know that I don't like to dress in the traditional feminine way as far as dresses and heels and things like that. And I know when I was younger, that was considered a tomboy. But I also know that I have my natural feminine characteristics. And when I was talking to my mom about that, right away she said feminine tomboy, and I was like, I like that. That's a dope way to put it. I identify with that. So that's where the name came from. Now, I'm not going to have 50 episodes focused on being a feminine tomboy, which is why confidence, identity, and fashion are the things that I want to focus on. And this will be the first time me kind of putting myself out there and having a show centered around my experiences, which is a little nerve wracking. I don't know if you can tell right now, I'm already a little nervous because I feel like I share my story and I share my experiences on social media throughout the years. Like a lot of people are drawn to my brand because they're drawn to my experiences that I've shared online. But this is going to go a little bit deeper. Like I said, it's going to be like my Moesha journal, where if I get, ready to do an episode and I feel like just venting and sharing what I'm going through in that moment, like I'm going to do that because I'm excited to have my own platform where I can share um I can share in that way. I'm really looking forward to that because typically I'm always like highlighting others, interviewing others and things like that. This is a space and a time for me to just share. Like y'all are about to watch me figure out more about my own identity. Y'all are gonna help me figure out how to improve my confidence and my fashion sense. Like I plan on bringing some dope people on here because I am not a fashion expert, but I definitely plan to bring some folks on here to kind of guide me in that conversation around fashion. So I'm just rambling right now, telling y'all what to look forward to uh, with the podcast in general, the things that we're going to be talking about. So eventually, I do want to bring some guests on the show. So if you're interested, definitely let me know in the comments if you're tuning in, and we'll make sure I find some time to get y'all on the show. If you have any topics that you would like to cover around identity, confidence, and fashion, please let me know. That would be super super dope. But thank y'all so much for tuning in to this first episode. Like I said, it'll be short and sweet. This is just the beginning. I really, really put myself out there, and I was like, I'm gonna challenge myself, do something different, do something new, and create a space for myself. And hopefully that it has an impact on other people and it can inspire other people. And that's what the last thing I want to talk about on this episode. I really just want to encourage folks, if there's something that you want to do, if there's something that you've been holding off to you, so it's the perfect time, or you have the perfect setup or the perfect equipment, just do it. Just do it, because I'm getting this first episode under my belt, doing a podcast on my own about my own experiences, and it feels good. It feels good. I've been week after week putting it off. Shout out to Tone at Tone Deaf Radio in Milwaukee, really pushing me and encouraging me to just get started. And my mom as well pushing me to just get started. And it feels good to get this out and share my thoughts. And this is literally just day one, and I'm going to make sure I curate a list of dope content for you all, dope conversations with myself and others, so that we can continue to have these conversations. But if you have something that you want to do, something that you want to share with the world, whether it's your poetry, whether it's your music, whether it's a podcast, whether it's something completely unique and different as a creative, I really encourage you to figure out what it is that you need at a very basic level, get those things and make it happen. And make it happen. That's the gem I'm gonna drop on this first episode today. Let me check the comments before I wrap up this initial episode. It was super short, and I'm okay with that, because that was the whole focus of just introducing a little bit about myself, a little bit about what we're going to be talking about on the podcast, and just give you a little bit of a taste, because now I've put it out there, I've engaged with an audience, and I'm excited to hear more about what y'all want to hear and what y'all want to know about, what y'all might want to know about me. So let's do this. Let's get it started. The Feminine Tomboy first episode. Checking the comments real quick. 1 second, y'all. 1 second. 1 second. Thank y'all. Thank y'all in the comments. I appreciate it. Congratulations for my mom. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in, Christina. Jessica, I appreciate you. Darian as well. I know Tone is probably listening like, dang, like all the stuff I taught you, you're not doing. I am not, because I totally forgot I could bring the comments up on the screen and everything. I'm still learning. So y'all be patient with me. This is day one. Please, everybody that's tuning in, Christina, my mom, Darian, Jessica, my dad, just stay tuned for the progress, because your girl is struggling, but I am so okay with y'all watching me struggle and figure it out, because a year from now, like Tone was telling me, it's gonna look a lot better, and it's gonna be dope. I still think it's dope right now while I'm struggling and I'm figuring out, but it's gonna be even better, even better. So thank y'all so much. Just a quick little 15-minute check-in intro episode into my world, showing y'all what I'm going to be talking about with the Feminine Tomboy podcast. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. I'm looking forward to sharing more with y'all. The goal is to be back every Thursday at the same time. You can always watch it back if you missed the live, and these episodes will also be uploaded on other streaming platforms as well. So stay tuned. Keep supporting. I appreciate all of y'all. Y'all are amazing. Have a great rest of your day.